Hey everyone, I'm Aaron and this is Feelin' Film, and you're watching a bit of a new experiment here for the channel. This is going to be my first video log, or vlog as the kids like to call them, here on the Feelin' Film YouTube channel. The goal of this is to give myself an opportunity to talk about things that aren't really fitting into a typical review structure. So whether that is awards season, like I'm going to discuss today, or something like in-person thoughts on my festival experiences. I'm going to try and use this for that as well. This is just going to be a little bit of a casual experience between me and you. Sometimes I'm going to have a drink, going to have cats in the background, can't really account for that. It's going to be one take. There's not really going to be any editing, not going to be highly produced. This is just me talking to you guys about something that is on my mind, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. If you do, please, by all means, leave a comment and let me know so I will be sure to know whether I'm on the right track or not. I am going to have to look down at notes occasionally here as well. Normally I would be cutting all that stuff out in like reviews, but you get to kind of see how the sausage is made, so to speak, this time around. All right, so I'm a member of two film critic organizations, Seattle Film Critics Society and Hollywood Creative Alliance, both of which have announced our 2023 awards in the last couple of days. And I thought it would be fun to go through the winners and talk about the ones that I'm happy about, the ones that have frustrated me maybe. And if I can remember, I'll tell you what I voted for in each of them as well. I'm going to do this first by talking about the unique awards to each specific organization, because they both have a couple of awards that the others do not. And then we'll talk about the ones that are the same for both of them, and we'll go over how each one ended up voting, which has been quite different in some cases. So, to get us started, we're going to talk about the Seattle Film Critics Society Special Villain of the Year Award. Now, this went to Godzilla from Godzilla Minus One, and I'm frankly okay with that. I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to pick a giant monster like Godzilla, but this is the year of Godzilla. I mean, this movie was absolutely huge, and I think we all really enjoyed the way that Godzilla was depicted, in this particular film, as opposed to like being a hero character kind of, or anti-hero as he's been in some of the more recent adaptations here from American viewpoint. This was a badass who was there to cause terror and wreak havoc, and that's exactly what he did. So it's a fair pick. I personally was rooting for Robert De Niro as King Hale in Killers of the Flower Moon. To me, that is more of like what a traditional villain role is. It's that meaty human aspect of someone that is capturing just this evil that actually existed and does it so just disturbingly well. But I'm cool with Godzilla. It's better than voting on something like the patriarchy or like the Nazis and kind of like broad like that. So we're good there. The other unique Seattle Film Critics Society award is for Best Youth Performance. And that went to Milo Machado Grenier from Anatomy of a Fall. He's the young boy who is blind and has to go through this trial while his mom is being accused of murdering his dad. Phenomenal performance. It was my number one of the year as well in this category, so I'm super hyped and stoked that he was the winner. If it wasn't him, I was like, it's got to be Abby Ryder Fortson from Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So I'm good with this one. Hollywood Critics Association, or Hollywood Creative Alliance, sorry, we changed our name this year. The unique awards here are actually a lot more plentiful. Some of the Seattle awards, we don't do all of the traditional Oscar categories, and Hollywood Creative Alliance does many more of those. So, for example, Best Sound, that award went to Oppenheimer, which, if you know anything about me, if you've watched my top 10 video, you understand Oppenheimer's my number 2 of the year. I adore it. I'm a Christopher Nolan super fan. He's my favorite director. So any award that Oppenheimer wins, you can just imagine that I am very, very happy with that. And I do think that Oppenheimer is absolutely worthy of Best Sound. Best Publicity Campaign. This is a unique one to HCA. And frankly, this is part of us being in Hollywood, okay? Hollywood Creative Alliance is actually a conglomerate now. It's got not just film critics, but other people from the industry that work in other areas of the industry. And I think this is indicative of celebrating the marketing aspect. I'm not a huge fan of this existing in this award. It went to Barbie. Duh. Like, I don't know any other movie that could have beat Barbie this year. The marketing campaign was phenomenal, and it led to a movie that made well over $1 billion. It was a win. I kind of wish we would have just said, let's vote for Barbenheimer as a collection, and like, let's vote for how they marketed their movies together and played off of each other. I think that would have been neater, but whatever. It's Barbie. It's fine. Best Original Song, also a category that SFCS does not do. I wish we did, honestly. I like this category a lot. I didn't like it this year. It was like 15 Barbie songs, and then something from Super Mario Brothers, and something from Wish that wasn't really that good. The winner was I'm Just Ken from Barbie, so yeah, not unexpected. I voted for what I believe was the best song, which is Camp Isn't Home from Theater Camp. If you've seen that film, you'll probably know what I'm talking about, but this is a moment at the very, very end of the movie, a musical number where everything comes together, and I have cried 3 out of 3 times watching this movie when this song comes on. And it's the one song that I actually find myself humming and singing along to the rest of this year. And so I wish it would have been the winner, but I'm not surprised that Ken took it. Best Hair and Makeup, also SFCS doesn't do this, whatever, it's not a big deal to me. It went to Maestro, okay, cool. Best Voiceover Performance, this is an award that I would love SFCS to adopt. I think it's a brilliant thing that we need to award more often and to celebrate, because I am a huge fan of animation in general. This went to Haley Steinfeld from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Completely worthy winner. I love her as Gwen, and I'm glad that she was recognized. Best Short Film, this went to The After. Didn't watch that one, frankly. I don't normally do all of my short film viewing until Oscar time. And so this came a bit early for me, and I was a little thrown. I wasn't expecting this category. It's my first time voting in the Hollywood Creative Alliance Awards. I voted for the Wes Anderson short film, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I would have taken pretty much any of the Wes Anderson short films over anything else in this category. I think they're all just delightful. Best Horror Feature. So HCA does several different genre awards. They gave it to Megan. I don't remember what I voted for. The list was a bunch of movies that I didn't really think were worth awarding anything. I think Talk to Me maybe would have gotten my vote. The rest of them were just like Knock at the Cabin. Like, why are we giving awards to consideration of Knock at the Cabin? I don't know. Megan was fun, guys. It was a cool January experience. Best Horror Movie of the Year? Yeah, that's a long shot. Best Comedy Feature went to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I'm okay with that. Personal winner was also back to what I said before, Theater Camp. I love Theater Camp. It was darn near my top 10 of the year. So I think it's much better comedy, but Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is also a lovely movie, and it's fine that we picked that. Best Action Feature, John Wick Chapter 4. Cool. I'm good with that. No complaints here. Beat 'em up. Best First Feature. This went to Celine's Song for Past Lives. I'm so grateful for this. I love it. Some of the other films and the options were actually pretty good as well, but I love and adore Past Lives, and it was just a very affecting movie for me. And so I like that this award exists and that this is what HCA chose. Best International Awards. HCA does some like specific actor and actress stuff that I've not really seen done anywhere else. So this was kind of cool. I like this because it allows us to broaden the awards and I always will advocate for more awards because it allows you to highlight more performances and more movies and more talented filmmaking and craft. There's always a ton worth celebrating that isn't the one that gets the final statue. So, Best International Actor, HCA gave this to Gael Garcia Bernal for Cassandro. I disagree with this one. It's fine performance, I thought, in that movie. My personal heart favorite is Eugenio Derbez for Radical, a movie that was in my top 10, or Koji Yakusho in Perfect Days, a performance that kind of elevated even above and beyond my Ultimate Feelings for that film overall. He's phenomenal. But yeah, Eugenio Derbez in Radical would have been my pick. And I, urge you all to look for that movie and go check it out. But congrats to Gael Garcia Bernal, I guess. Best International Actress, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. No issues with that whatsoever. It is the year of Sandra Hüller. She's had 2 amazing performances in Anatomy of a Fall and Zone of Interest, so very pleased with us awarding her. And then Best International Filmmaker, I guess this is kind of like Best Director, but international. I noticed that none of the international filmmakers were nominated for our Best Director category, so we must be separating these. Forgive me for not, I guess, knowing the intricacies of this organization that I'm voting in for the first time. I'm learning as I go. But yeah, for HCA, Best International Filmmaker, it was awarded to Hayao Miyazaki for The Boy and the Heron, I guess. Like, I'm fine awarding anything to Hayao Miyazaki because he's incredible, even though I think this is maybe my least favorite of his movies. I would have given it to Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest, which I think is an all-timer, like, new way of doing art about a topic that has been covered so many different times in familiar ways, and this time it was not. So I would have given it to him, but hey, it's hard not to, like, be happy when Miyazaki gets some praise, because, like, he's had a career worthy of it. Best casting? This went to Allison Jones and Lucy Bevan. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was thrown off by this award because I was confused that it even existed at first and why it was different from, like, Best Ensemble Cast. I guess it's just acknowledging the person that was responsible for putting things together. This was for Barbie, so good for them. On to the same categories that we have for both organizations. Best Visual Effects. HCA gave this to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I know is controversial to some because it's animated. Whatever. I think they're incredible in this film. As a person who has a daughter that is currently learning computer programming at a specific institute for that technology, she has lots of friends that are doing art and stuff, and I understand where visual effects comes into play through CGI animation and how hard that is to accomplish, and so I think it's fine here. SFCS, we gave our best visual effects to Godzilla -1. I'm a little more happy with that. I think that is a really cool and neat pick, and for a movie that I think was made on like $15 million, it's one of the best looking films of the year. You can't beat that. I think that is above and beyond something we should that is something we should celebrate. That goes above and beyond like your typical types of films that get nominated for this, like your comic book movies. So Godzilla -1 for SFCS was probably the one I'm a little more proud of in this case. Best stunt slash best action choreography. Again, both organizations gave it to John Wick Chapter 4. Duh. Best score. Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. Both organizations. Yes, it's the score that I have listened to the most all year. The second most would be Joe Hisaishi's score for The Boy and the Heron, just throwing that out there. But yeah, I love this score from Göransson for Oppenheimer. I think it is phenomenal and perfectly attuned to what this movie is trying to evoke from an emotional level. Best production design, again, both organizations aligned and went with Barbie. That's fine. Not my favorite, but it's worthy. It's hard to look at Barbie's production value and say it isn't. Best editing, HCA went for Nathan Orloff for John Wick Chapter 4. I think this kind of ties into like why we gave it best stunts or best action choreography. Maybe it's because the way that the organizations word that category, and HCA leaned a little more towards thinking about the choreography in the editing department. John Wick Chapter 4 has great editing. I don't really have an issue with this. SFCS gave it to Jennifer Lame for Oppenheimer, which was the one that I voted for. And again, as I said up top, I'm good with any and all wins that Oppenheimer achieves. Best costume design. HCA went with Holly Waddington for Poor Things. I hate Poor Things. It's a known thing. I didn't review the film because I hated it so much, and there's a lot of things I could say about it. I'm trying to keep inside. There's a Letterboxd review out there that has my thoughts if you really want to go look it up. But I am okay with Poor Things winning something like costumes because its costumes are phenomenal and it has nothing to do with the plot. SFCS went for Jacqueline Duran for Barbie. Again, also I'm not a hugest Barbie fan out there, but I think that this is an incredibly worthy winner. Best Cinematography. HCA went with my boy Hoyt van Hoytema for Oppenheimer. Yes, love that. All in, agree 100%. SFCS went with Robbie Ryan for Poor Things. Like I just said about Poor Things, same thing with costumes applies here. The cinematography in that film is outstanding, and I'm okay with it garnering a win in this category. Best Screenplay is interesting. Seattle combines theirs, just so you know. So HCA, the adapted award went to Cord Jefferson for American Fiction. I prefer, other than Poor Things, pretty much every other nominee in this category over Poor Things and American Fiction. So I'm not a fan of this particular win. HCA's original screenplay went to Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Barbie. I could go on a huge rant here about why I personally don't think Barbie is an original screenplay. I think it is clearly an adapted screenplay. Yes, it's definitely adapted per the Oscar rules, but I could make a very good case as to why I think it's adapted for in general. And that is because you can't tell this story without pre-existing understanding of what Barbie was before it came. So Greta Gerwig could not have made a film with the impact that it does. You can't deconstruct something if it wasn't constructed in the first place. So the only reason you can do what you did with Barbie the way that she did it is because of the decades of the way that Barbie has existed previously. Therefore, to me, that's adapted. SFCS, we went with David Hemmingson for The Holdovers. I was incredibly surprised at the love that the Seattle Film Critics Society gave to The Holdovers. I wasn't expecting it, even though it's like my third or fourth favorite film of the year. Barton Academy, let's go. I love this win. Best Documentary, Hollywood Critics, again, I'm messing that up. Hollywood Creative Alliance went with still a Michael J. Fox movie, one of my favorite documentaries of the year. It's very touching and moving. I still can't believe that HCA nominated Taylor Swift The Eras Tours as Best Documentary. That happened and just blew my mind because it's ridiculous. It's not a documentary. SFCS chose 20 Days in Mariupol. This was my favorite documentary of the year by far, and one of two that I think are essential. As I said in my top 10 of the year video, if you've watched that, 20 Days of Mariupol and Beyond Utopia. Those are the two that I think everyone needs to see. So I love this selection from SFCS. Best Animated, both organizations went with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think like 99% of organizations are going to go with that. I'm on board. I love the film. One of my favorites of the year. Best International Film, HCA went with Anatomy of a Fall. Understandable, not my favorite, but I get it. Seattle Film Critics Society chose Godzilla Minus One. I yelped when this was announced in real time. I could not believe it. Like, I knew we had love for this movie, but I didn't think we were gonna. This is one of the best years of international film that I can remember, and to give it to Godzilla is such a huge statement. It's borderline top 10 for me. It's like in my top 15 or so, so like I can't be mad at it. It's not my favorite of the group. I mean, I would have gone to Zone of Interest first, but like, this is cool. This is really cool. Godzilla as best international film. Like, wow. Go SFCS for being unique. Best Ensemble Cast, Hollywood Creative Alliance went for The Color Purple, one of the very few awards either group gave to The Color Purple, which I love that film, and I think this is a fantastic award, and they're totally deserving of this. SFCS went for The Holdovers. Again, I love The Holdovers casting. I think it features 3 phenomenal performances. For me, when I'm looking at Best Ensemble, I'm looking at something like The Color Purple. Or like Glass Onion from last year. Something with a lot more actors in it. Oppenheimer. Just standout performance after standout performance. Tons of little cameos and supporting stuff. So I guess it's how you view what an ensemble cast is. For me, I would have gone with something else, even though I love The Holdovers with all my heart. But I like both of these. It's cool because I get to celebrate 2 different movies that are amazing. Now into the final stretch. Best Supporting Actor. Hollywood Creative Alliance went with Ryan Gosling and Barbie. Whatever. I don't think it's award worthy. I think it's fun, but I don't think it's award worthy. Seattle Film Critics Society chose Charles Melton in May December, which was, based on our nominees, my top pick. He's who I voted for. There were several missing that I would have preferred, but whatever. I think Charles Melton is phenomenal in that movie, and I love that we picked him in SFCS. Best Supporting Actress, both organizations aligned here. More Barton Academy love, going with Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. My personal number 2 pick was Divine Joy Randolph. My number 1 was Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple, and I'm sad that she didn't at least get one of these two, but I'll take it. My number 2 is a strong number 2. Divine Joy Randolph is absolutely deserving of this. Best Actor, HCA, keeping up this theme between the two organizations, ping-ponging back and forth with lots of Holdovers love. Best Actor for HCA went to Paul Giamatti. Yes, loving that. Definitely think he was worthy of it. And I'm so glad that we recognized it. Seattle Film Critics Society chose Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. It's a fine performance in an okay movie. Don't at me. I don't love this. I do like Jeffrey Wright a lot, though, by the way, in other stuff. Best Actress, both organizations, not surprisingly, went with Lily Gladstone from Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, Hollywood Creative Alliance also had a tie, so they tied between Lily Gladstone and Margot Robbie and Barbie. First of all, ties are stupid. I don't like them, so I'm a voter against doing ties. If we could just take that off the board, please, in the future. I think it's silly. I don't think Lily Gladstone is the best leading actress because I think Lily Gladstone is arguably the best supporting actress of the year. I think that it's category fraud. I'm not a fan of her being in this category at all. So I didn't vote for her, but it has nothing to do with the performance. I wanted to be clear about that. I think she's an amazing actress. She's local. She's literally went to high school 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. I've lived in the city that she went to high school in. We awarded her a special award at SFCS this year. I think she's awesome, but I don't think that she is a leading actress in this movie. But whatever, it's cool. I think she's going to be the Oscar winner, the Golden Globe winner. She's going to sweep, and we're just going along with that because it is a meaningful and moving performance. All right. If you're still with me and not mad, last two. Best Director, Hollywood Critics Society, Hollywood Creative. I'm going to figure it out eventually, guys. Hollywood Creative Alliance went with Christopher Nolan in Oppenheimer. Let's go! That's my guy, my favorite director ever, probably. So happy to see him get this, and I hope that his momentum just continues to build and build and build all the way to his very first Oscar. Seattle Film Critics Society went with Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. Boring. I don't think it was his best directorial effort by far. I don't think it was one of the best of the year. And I know that our particular group here locally has an incredible fondness for Martin Scorsese. So it's not shocking, but it is a little bit disappointingly boring for me. Best Picture. Could not be different. More different. Hollywood Creative Alliance chose Barbie. Seattle Film Critics Society chose Past Lives. I think Barbie is a silly Best Picture. I think it is a wonderful movie. Box office smash for a reason. Touched a lot of people. That's great. In this particular year, I don't think it doesn't even sniff competition for my taste for Best Picture. I think that's crazy. And I don't understand how enough people voted it that high over the rest of these films to get it there. But I just can't stand behind that. Good movie, but no, not Best Picture material. Past Lives, I love. Fifth or sixth favorite of the year. Deeply, deeply impactful on me emotionally. I think it's a brilliant screenplay, wonderful acting and performances, especially with it being a debut. I think Celine's song knocked this out of the park in all regards. And I'm really, really thrilled that SFCS ended up leaning this way. Seattle Film Critics Society Awards specifically, because I've been in this organization much longer than I have HCA, I can tell you historically, we often end up giving awards to one or two movies and like spamming them, right? They win all of the things. This is a unique year where a whole bunch of movies got a couple of awards. I don't think anything got more than 3. I think Holdovers and Godzilla got 3 awards each for Seattle Film Critics Society, which is crazy. It's just a wild year, a phenomenal year. So many amazing movies. You cannot go wrong. Please get out there and watch them all. Hopefully this will serve to just give you more motivation to do that. Some of these award winners, you can seek them out and watch them and enjoy them as much as everybody who's already seen them and voted for them has. That's it for this video. Thank you guys for sticking with me. If you watched the whole thing, I hope you like this format. Again, if you do, please let me know. Find me in the comments and tell me what you think. I'm planning on recreating this at Sundance Film Festival here in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll do like an end of day video log where I just kind of really quickly, probably not anywhere near this length, recap the films that I saw that day in kind of capsule review form. Just tell you what I thought and if anything cool happened. Maybe I celebrity sightings or, I don't know. Maybe I fall and slip on the ice and you want to know that too. Either way, I'll be back soon as always. And until then, keep watching and keep feeling film.